Hello, and welcome to a different kind of video here on my YouTube channel. It's me, it's CGB, and I'm making this video to show, or at least share, I guess, my magic collecting habit that's come up, and that's really the only purpose of the video. I think I'm probably going to publish this in like an unpublished way where I don't even send out notifications to subscribers. We're just gonna drop it in the feed and see what happens. And the purpose behind this video, maybe I'll do members only, I don't know, have to choose. But the main purpose is I just want to share what I'm doing on the collecting side of Magic the Gathering, because I've definitely evolved as a collector over the years. As a very young kid, I remember just doing everything I could to earn money to buy packs of Magic cards and really being proud of my collection. In the very early years of my life as a teenager, I owned cards like Mox Pearl that were worth like $100 at the time. And now I sold my whole collection. I had to do that 3 different times in my life. The first 2 times were the first time was to get a car. Had to do that. The second time was to go to college, had to do that. The third time was because I didn't think I'd ever play Magic again. It was just kind of sad, but I decided I didn't really want these in my life. And there were years in my life where I owned no Magic cards. Since the launch of Arena, there were years that I was playing Arena while owning no Magic cards. And I've gotten back into collecting. Now that the channel is successful and I have extra income, I've started to rediscover the joy of collecting the cards, and this is what I'm doing to collect them. It's one of the blingiest ways possible, and I don't know, I've got a YouTube channel. There are other collecting enthusiasts out there. This video is to kind of share what I do with them. So this is a look at my complete foil Crimson Vow set, so let's check it out. Wow. Here she is. Crimson Vow, Innistrad, Crimson Vow. So first of all, I got this sweet binder from Ultra Pro. That is kind of a absolute slam dunk if you want to collect a set like this. It's a 4-square binder, so it has about like 400 slots in it, and that's very important too, because now with all the special printings and such, it's actually really hard. Like if you get the traditional 333 binders, it won't fit the full Magic set. So when we go right in, I've got them all organized, starting with the number 1. The very first number on there is Adamant Will, and they've just got these tiny numbers down here in the corner. So just starting at number 1, we get moving, and these are all the regular frame, regular art versions, and everything that you're going to see is foil. This Mythic Cemetery Protector, all of them I've acquired in foil using time, patience, and a lot of cool stuff ink. Promo code CGB5 orders, so make sure you use that to get yo deals. And I'm just gonna like look at some of the cards and talk about it, because now the set's been out for a little while and people know what a lot of the cards do if they watch MTG Arena. And while there's a lot of draft chaff and stuff like this, you can kind of check out the art and appreciate that. A card I still haven't played at all that actually fetches a pretty good price tag in the set is Hallowed Haunting. So I do think at some point I've got to figure out how to play Hallowed Haunting. Maybe I'll make that today stream goal, something like that. A card that never really worked in the Mythic category is Savior of Allenbrock. This card has never been successfully used against me. A Mythic that really has sort of rotted on the shelves. I think that this could use an alchemy buff, you know, as a Mythic that just doesn't see play. Then as we go through it, another Mythic that was really hard to find, took me a long time to get this one, Cemetery Illuminator. It's not worth a lot and it doesn't do a lot, but this particular frame was for some reason a really tricky piece to find to complete the set. As for completing the set, while I use Cool Stuff Inc. a lot, I often have to look at a lot of different websites, and then sometimes they send you the wrong art, or they send you the version that isn't foil, and you gotta contact the sellers and be like, hey, I need that back, etc, etc, etc. So then we have Hullbreaker Horror. This beautiful little guy, the mighty release, the Kraken, probably one of the biggest impact cards. Another one of the priciest cards in blue is Necroduality. This card that lets you copy zombies is a huge hit in Commander, so it makes the price tag significantly higher than I think that you would expect. Then as we go further into blue, we're going to find one of my favorite win cons, Witness the Future. You need 2 of them. But yeah, getting a complete set with 1 of everything, it does set you up good for Commander. It's not going to set me up good for paper formats. Like, if Standard is ever something you play on paper again. But why would I? I have Arena for that. It's fine. For Commander, as I go through and collect these sets, I can just, somebody can be like, hey, do you have this card? And I'm like, what set is it from? They're like, Crimson Vow. And I'm like, oh yes, I have it. Somewhere I have it. But I mean, what you guys probably really want to get to are the big ballers. We'll get there, trust me. There's a lot of cosmetics in Crimson Vow. So Toxrill the Corrosive, this was another card that was actually a bit expensive and a bit hard to find, but this particular frame, like the regular frame, apparently this card is an absolute hit Commander. And I played it once at my local game store, and I'll have you know, you don't make friends with Toxrill. It's as toxic as the name might imply. The card absolutely triggers people. It's very annoying to track as well. You need to bring a lot of your own slime counters, because like using dice doesn't work particularly well, and you run out very quickly. Chandra Dressed to Kill. I really love this particular art. We're going to get to the other arts and frames, but I love this Chandra Dressed to Kill, one of my favorites. I wish that her card did a little bit more. I don't think she's well positioned in any format at the moment. Very sad. But on this page, probably the standout card for me is Maniform Hellkite. This was a card I was super excited about when the set came out. I still like the card. It's just that there's so many good cards you can play when you play like a red and blue deck or a dragons deck that I don't think Maniform Hellkite gets as much action as it should. But that does keep the price down. Didn't have to pay very much for a foil mythic Maniform Hellkite. Here, speaking of cards you have to pay a lot for, Cultivator Colossus. This card is an absolute hit now in Commander and Battlecruiser Magic, and these foil copies cost a pretty penny. I think I paid, gosh, it's hard to remember what I paid for the big one. I think it was like $40. I think this one was like 18, maybe something like that. But yeah, they go a long way. On the next page, one of my favorite cards is going to be, if I had to pick a favorite from this page, I'm waiting to use like a combo with Splendid Reclamation. In Commander, Splendid Reclamation's a gamer, I think, but so far hasn't done anything in Standard. Uvenwald Oddity has probably done the most for Standard and Alchemy from this particular page. Just get in there. And then on the back, you can see the Moosey. By the way, these are all double-sleeved. That's how I store cards, if any collectors out there are wondering. I've got the super small perfect fits, they call them, but they're an Ultra Pro, just micro sleeve product. And then this is another Ultra Pro sleeve, and then boom. So once they're in the binder, 3 layers of protection from the elements so that the cards can live forever in happiness, like in a glass casket. On this page, when you get to multicolor, you start popping off, and this was one of the last cards I found. It was actually a pretty hard to find card as well. This is Kaya the Geist Hunter in foil in the regular frame, and this one for some reason had to track down a seller for that. Worked out okay though. Still haven't actually played the card, and that's one of the awkward things is all the cards that you haven't actually played piling up in here. But hey, who knows what the future might hold, and at least I've got them all in one place. Olivia Crimson Bride was a pricey one. I remember that. I think this was like $20. I'm not positive. Don't quote me. I buy too many cards and I forget the price, and that's my design. The sooner I forget the price, the less I'll ever feel bad about it, because I won't really notice the difference at the end of the day, but I'll be happy I have the cards. All right. Then on this page, we get into the land. The chill lands have definitely been as amazing as we hoped they would. The most valuable, like $9 or whatever, Storm-Carved Coast, because blue-red just completely continues to be way over pushed in Standard. I love the way that the foil lightning in this particular card just really moves, and we'll get to see that on other arts as well. So that's a fun one. I also find Wedding Invitation to be a particularly blingy card in foil. Like it really shines off the page. Even the bat is shiny. Like everything kind of foils out here with Wedding Invitation. Some of these other lands in their regular frame, they're kind of hard to see. They don't really do anything for me from a distance. They're just kind of a blurry image, but not Stormcarved Coast. Also, Voldaren Estate, I think, is a pretty gorgeous foil as well. I'm a big fan of this one. Next, because I am a completist, we have each land in their foiliness. Again, these are just going in order if you look at the number in the bottom left of the card. And we've got all the land arts that were so controversial. Then we get into the collector pieces. And this is where Magic has changed a lot. The alt arts, actually, to those, like, if people weren't watching this, if they're a casual fan, the alternative arts start fetching pretty big price tags regardless of what they do. So, like, this particular Sorin, I think in foil I got for around 40 or 50, something like that. But this is the Sorin borderless art in foil, and yeah, some of these really start going for a lot. Like this Chandra isn't getting played in a lot of places, but to get a foil of her borderless alt art, I believe was around $20, something like that. And I'm hoping that those continue to age well as far as collector pieces into the future. If they don't, I'll still be happy to collect them. I don't do this because I plan to sell everything again. History says I probably will someday, but it won't be like out of spite this time. I'm definitely collecting very intentionally for the joy of collecting for the most part, and maybe they have value someday and it's awesome. But this particular Kaya Geist Hunter I really also like in foil. Then we get into the extended arts, like different arts lands, and my gosh, does this pop. I just look at it. It's like you're actually watching the lightning strike on the Stormcarved Coast. And the other lands get a bit better too. This Dreamroot Cascade, I would say, is much more evocative. The full moon really kind of glowing there, shining off the river. It's really cool. I kind of dork out over this stuff. I don't know if you can tell. And I've never been that much of an art person, but I guess now that I'm collecting these more, and especially that I have foils, which they weren't that big of a thing back when I collected Magic in the past. Foils were ultra rare. You almost never saw them, and the idea of collecting them sounded insane. And now, like, all these, having all these alt arts and stuff is pretty cool. So I'm enjoying them. I know that Wizards takes a lot of flack for cash grabs on alt arts and things like that, but I'm actually, like, I'm really enjoying having all these options and seeing all the different looks at the card. Here's the baby of the whole set. The baby of the whole set. Last I looked at, like, $200. I think that 160 was, like, the low end that I saw for Sorin the Mirthless. And the Castlevania style art in foil at Mythic, like, dude, some people are really into this specific card. Look at the way that, like, the red on it just pops off. It's almost like it's an extra dimension, like a third dimension with the wine glass and the necklace. And it's hard to, like, actually get it to come through the screen to you guys, but, like, people love this card. This is I believe this is the most expensive card in the set. And I don't think it's close. I think this is the only one that's, like, Meat Hook Massacre. There's a Meat Hook Massacre that we'll see that's over 100. Oh no, actually that's in a deck right now. Oh no, that's embarrassing. Hold on. I'll run and grab it when we get to it. I've actually got it in a deck for the Flex because I was recording for Alias, the Ailey YouTube channel, for her Commander show, and I always have to have all the flexy foils in those decks. On this page we've got Edgar's alt art in foil, and that's a pretty fun one. Some people are still into Grandpa Edgar, who married a much younger woman. This is also a pretty valuable foil. The Olivia Crimson Bride Fang, what is it? The Fang frame art is what they called it. So that one's another really popular one. And then we go into I don't know what these are. I should know the names of all the framing devices, but I don't because there's too many. But yeah, we got like Jacob Hawk in here and kind of this classic monster mystery frame. There's so many extra cosmetics in Crimson Vow. It's kind of crazy. Just when you thought they had enough, they came up with more. Like here's Anna and Elena, partners in the extra like throwback monster frame, I guess. But then we get into Dracula frame. And Dracula frame also, like, it raises the price significantly, but not nearly as much as the Castlevania style art frame. But yeah, we've got some cards here like Dracula Blood Immortal that look particularly great in foil. Not worth a lot because the card itself isn't particularly sought after, a little too blood focused. But like, I showed this card to the guy at my local shop. He said, I've never seen this in my life. I didn't know this card even existed. Three Weird Sisters. This is a take on Henrika Damnathi, something like that. Henrika Damnathi. And the transformational card, it's another pretty cool one. One regret I have is not being able to, I guess I could just get 2 of everything, but that seems a little excessive. I wish I could display the front and back of all these double-sided cards so that I wouldn't have to pull them out and flip them, but alas, that does seem a bit too extra. Soren the Mirthless as Count Dracula, another really sweet foil treatment on this one. But yeah, the Dracula frames and stuff also seem to get a lot of attention, though they don't seem to draw nearly the same kind of price tag for the most part. And then we get into extended foil. So extended foils, these are usually the most expensive printings of cards outside of kind of the rando cosmetics, such as the Castlevania art Soren. But for the most part, for an individual rare, like the best way for it to hold its value in the set is to get like the extended art foils, because so far those seem to be the most desirable. So here's a Faithbound Judge to ooh-ah over. And as you can see, I think I've got 4 copies of Olivia. Or no, 3 or 4 copies? Yeah, because Olivia's not going to be an extended, right? But because she has all those other frames. I think I got 3 copies of Olivia, the Crimson Bride, in here eventually. Here's another Hallowed Haunting, all shined up, ready to go. Some of these, given the extra frame, actually seem to give you more art or a better look at the art. Hallowed Haunting's one of those. Really enjoy that one. Hullbreaker Horror. I don't think we need another closer look at the Rock Lobster here, but always a fun card to have. It's so good at the table. Like, I had a Hullbreaker Horror in almost all of my Commander decks. I've started pulling them out just because so many games at my local game store have ended with Hullbreaker Horror that we don't want to do that anymore. This Alchemist Gambit was among one of the last cards that I got. Getting this extended art in foil. Still waiting for that card to really pop off, but I really like the kind of lantern, flare, laser beam, whatever is being fired here that somehow makes an extra turn. The last 2 cards I got, here's one of them, and here's the other. Glorious Sunrise and Ascendant Pack Leader. For some reason, the package for this got lost. It got to me about a month after it was supposed to. I was waiting on just these 2 to complete the set for a really long time, but they finally arrived, and I finally get to make a video. Extended Art Foil Cultivator Colossus. What a card. This is another very hype card. Very hype card in the set. And moving into the final page. Oh, you know what? The Meathook Massacre is from Midnight Hunt. It's not from this. It's not from Crimson Vow. I don't have to run and get it. Anyway, there's a couple promos on the back, and they come in the promo pack. So I didn't even know this until the guy at the local store hooked me up with a promo pack. Otherwise, I would have had to order these special or something. But they're lands, and they're the basic land of the set, but they only come in foil, apparently, in that pack. So had to land those. Blocked those in. This particular mountain, as much as I despise mountains, is a really good lonely mountain image, I would say. Very cool. And then there's also some promo arts for some of these. So like there was an extra art in Sigarda Summons. Now these are like promo packs or pre-release packs from the Wizards Play Network stores. And my local store just got Wizards Premium Store or Play Network store. Some status distinction, so I'll be able to pick these kinds of things up in the future. And yeah, I feel like there's a green one missing. If there's a green one missing, let me know. I looked on the website and didn't see one, but it does feel like there should be a green card here, and there isn't. So I'm pretty sure that's it, though. We got 407 cards, and boom, that's it. Unless I'm missing that green card and you guys want to tell me about it. That is my complete foil collection of Innistrad Crimson Vow. Let me know if you enjoyed the video and leave me a comment. It probably will have a lot less views than my other videos, depending on how and where I publish it. But I've got a few things going on. I'm completing the set of Midnight Hunt. I'm also starting to work on Strixhaven and the Forgotten Realms. So getting all those together, and I'll probably make a video of those. 90% of the reason of this video is just kind of to share my collecting habit and let some of you get that vicarious check out these paper products rush with me. And that's really it. I'm not particularly worried about the views or traction on the video or anything like that. Just really hope it makes some people out there happy and that they enjoy a little bit more CGB content. I'm also going back in time. I started collecting Crimson Vow. I decided I wanted to collect the new sets going forward, but I also decided I want to go back and start collecting from the past. And what was the first set I ever played? Revised. So I've got a lot of Revised already, but I'm not finished. It's going to be a little while before I'm finished. It's an expensive set now, it turns out, but I hope within the next few months to be bringing you a Revised complete set review video. So thank you for watching this video. As always, I'll see you in the next video. You're cool.